So you'll have to forgive the darkness of the images. My son's asleep out over there. You can probably hear him snoring or breathing heavily at least. But I want to talk about this concept that politicians talk about. I'm going to talk about investing. And you always hear this. We're going to invest in our children. We're going to invest in America's future. We're going to invest in drilling. We're going to invest in energy solutions. We're going to invest in alternative energy solutions. We're going to invest in this. We're going to invest in that. What does all this investment mean? What does it mean when they say they're going to invest? You know, when I think about investing, I think about private investors spending their own money, you know, supporting a company, expecting a return on their money. What kind of return are we seeing on our money when politicians talk about investing? And do they mean the same thing? The answer, of course, is no, they don't. What they mean is taking your money and putting it into their preferred vehicle, their preferred company, their preferred industry, and calling it investment. We hear a lot about investment from politicians when it comes to education. Let's invest in our children's future. Let's invest in the education of America. Let's invest in the public education system. Let's invest in education. Well, I'd like to take these guys up on their offer to invest. And I was reading the Daily Oklahoman, the paper up in the area where I work, and they have in there a great editorial, I thought. And they showed the average amount of money spent on one student for 1 year in the state of Oklahoma, adjusted for inflation from 1992 to the present. Okay, and I'm going to include a link to the article over here to the left, and you have to click on that article, and on the right hand side of the page on that article there will be two graphs. You can enlarge it, and you have to excuse me, I'm popular on the computer. You can enlarge it and look at it in more detail, but you'll see one line going like this and straight upwards, and the other line will be flat like this. All you need to know, and of course I want you to research it on your own, but all you need to know is that this is the amount spent per student per year, adjusted for inflation from 1992 to the present, and the flat line is the percentage of children that are reading at that are proficient in reading at their grade level. In 1992, it was approximately 30%, and it's gone up and down between 20 and 30% a little bit over the past 15 years or so. But at 2007, it winds up at 27-28%. Now they want to talk about investing. I want to use their criteria on them. If they want to talk about investing, who in the world would continue to put money into a company, a stock, or an industry whose results continue to be like this, but yet the money invested in them continued to go like this? If you put more money into any product besides education, wouldn't you expect more results from it? If you put, and the difference was $6,200 per student per year up to $8,500. If you put $6,200 in a car, and this is real money, not this is adjusted for inflation, or you put $8,500 in a car, wouldn't you expect to get 40% more car? After all, you're spending 40% more money. If you put $62 of gas in your tank, or you put $83 of gas in your tank, wouldn't you expect to get more out of your $83 of gas in your tank than you did with the $62? Of course. With every other industry, you pay more, you get more. If you paid $62,000 for a house, or you paid $83,000 for a house, wouldn't you expect to get more housing for $83,000 than you would for $62,000? What industry, can you tell me, do you expect to pay more for something and expect to receive the same amount of service in that area? Now, reading proficiency can be any gauge of success in education, and I think reading is one of the core functions of education, if I'm not mistaken. Then why is it that we continue to have politicians say we need to invest in this particular industry, in this particular thing, and over a 15-year period we see this? This is for Oklahoma, and I guarantee you it's that way for every state in the union. It's that way for national numbers, it's that way for individual state numbers, it's that way for everything. What company would continue to get these results and continue to expect investment in the company to go up in this manner? If this was any type of investment like they say it is, it would have, the money would have gone elsewhere a long time ago. Now, 30% of people, of students being proficient at reading at their own grade level, you know, it's pretty horrible for $6,200 a year. But it's even worse for $8,300 a year. But yet when you say, let's move money out of public education, let's quit supporting this nonsense, people say, oh, you hate poor children. You don't want them to get an education. Well, 70% of them aren't getting an education in the system that we have. This great angelic public school system that promises to give everybody a decent education. 70% of the children aren't getting a good enough education to read at their grade level anyway. So why continue to put money in it? You know, you can look at those numbers of people that are proficient at their grading level for private schools. You see 40% of high school students going to college, 60%, and that is counting for seniors. That doesn't count the ones that dropped out from 9th grade to 12th grade. And then you look at, you know, private schools, they're sending 85 and 90 and 95% of their children to colleges, when, and they only, you know, and 97% of their kids that are, they have a 3% dropout rate instead of a 30% dropout rate. Where should we be investing money, people? And the same people will tell you, oh, you can't subject education to the same criteria as a business. Education should not be about making money. Education should not be some sort of profit-making entity. Well, if it's not profit-making, then why are the unions wanting to steal more money from the public treasury? Always begging for more and more and more and more money. Seems to be a profit-making entity for somebody. But of course, it's the taxpayers that are losing out. The same people that will stand up and support people like Barack Obama and all the other liberal politicians and all the other conservative politicians for that matter, but the liberals are particularly egregious on this. The same people that stand up and support those politicians that are the main ones out there saying, let's invest in this, invest in this, invest in that, when they really mean just let's tax you and take your money and put it in there, regardless of whether it performs or not, are the same people that say, oh no, you can't hold these type of industries to the standards of a corporate performance or performance evaluation or anything like this. Well, then quit calling it investing. Call it what it is, taking people's money, putting it where you want it to go. Call it that, because it's not investing, because nobody would do it if it were investing.